Welcome. Happy Saturday. I'm glad to see you guys all here. I want to thank you for watching the corporate video with me today, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching in replay. I really appreciate you making your business a success and growth priority, your business success a growth priority for you. And I want to thank everybody on the corporate team and Kelly and Tina for asking me to talk to you all today. It really is an honor and a privilege to be able to speak to you all. My name is Julia Flynn Werre, and I'm a leader with Asirvia. I absolutely love it. I was introduced to Asirvia a year ago in June, and through my antique shop, and I've loved every minute of it. I've introduced it to every business owner I can think of. Small business owner, large business owner, because I think it's totally revolutionizing the way we market. Today, I'd like to talk to you about a couple of things that have really helped me and my team to grow our businesses, things that I think make all the difference. And it really doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, when you're in sales and when you're trying to grow your business. I think these things are instrumental in that growth. The first is consistency. Then priorities and prioritization, prospecting, I know everybody loves that word, or lead generation, I guess. And then I'd like to wrap up by sharing a few of my 15-minute business builders. You might remember I did another presentation a while back, and I talked about building your business in 15 minutes. To prepare for today and for talking with you all today, I did a couple things to make my job a little easier. I started early, number one, but I'm a big fan of not reinventing the wheel, and that's kind of how I do everything with marketing and sales, is I look at what other successful people have done and I model them. Because it seems to me that if somebody has already had success, they probably have a lot to share with us. And I know we've heard other people talk about that. We've had so many amazing speakers, Gina Garber-Smith, Curry Russell, Tina and Kelly. Kevin has done an amazing job with Shut Up and Text. It's just amazing to me that we have access to so many successful leaders. So I like to go back to what they've done and see that way I can do a better job in whatever it is that I'm doing. So the first thing that I did in preparation was I jotted down some notes in my trusty daily journal and notebook about what I thought was interesting to talk about. What I speculated, I guess is what it was, what I theorized that people wanted to hear about today. But then I did something else. Then what I did is I actually went to my upline, which is Brenda Graham and Tina and Kelly, and I also went to my downline, and I asked them what they thought people really wanted to know about, what would be beneficial and helpful, and what they thought people really needed to know, or what they needed to know, or how to share that. So that was really interesting. I also put out a poll onto Facebook asking a couple of different questions, and I really got a lot of response and information back. So it gave me a twofold benefit there. Number one, I was able to kind of have a deeper conversation with people that are on my Facebook wall or people that know me. And secondly, I was able to actually prepare a little bit better for today. I want to send out a huge thank you to my upline, Brenda Graham, and to a few rock stars that we have on our team. That's Linda McBee, Gail Glass, Chuck Howard, Melba Watson, Daryl Middleton, David Stormruffin, Kevin Ibex, and some other people too that have really done an amazing job that I can bounce ideas off of. These are my accountability partners, and I know we talk a lot about accountability. That's not our conversation for today, but what I want to show you all, I'm going to go back over here, and I want to do a screen share. I'm going to share this little screen here. Oh, I can't share the screen with you all today. Okay, so what I wanted to show you was what we call the facts of learning. And you might remember hearing this from years ago, which is that we remember 10% of what we read. We retain 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we hear and what we see, 70% of what we discuss. That's pretty amazing, right? So if you're having a conversation with people, 70% of what we discuss, you will remember 80% of what you personally experience, so stuff that happens to you or that you're a part of. But this is the cool one. You're going to retain 90% of what you teach. So when I was a little girl, I totally remember my mom saying things to me like, oh, your little sisters, they don't know how to sound words out. Could you teach them how to sound words out? Or could you teach your sister how to tie her shoe or do her math problem or whatever it was, or how to dust, how to make her bed, how to clean, that kind of thing. My mom was really always kind of going through that. You're going to remember 90% of what you teach. And that is what I want to talk to you guys about today, is improving your own skill set by teaching others. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's not a forefront message for today, but that definitely is a theme that I want to have running throughout what we're talking about today. I realized that by preparing to talk to you all, that it was actually going to increase my knowledge and increase my commitment and dedication to my business and to my team. And that is really what happened. The other thing that I thought would be helpful, and really was watching some TED Talks. So you guys might be familiar with that. It's on YouTube, TED Talks. That helped me get into the mindset for today, what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, how to prepare. I watched a couple of different things. I watched a guy named Julia Flynn Werre, and he talked about how to speak and how to present and how to have people listen to what you're saying. So I thought that was cool, so I highly recommend that. But the first topic I had was consistency, and one of the TED Talks that I watched was a guy named Matt Cutts. So let me see if I can share the screen. Nope, I can't share the screen. So Matt Cutts actually referenced the experiment done by Morgan Spurlock. That was the guy who ate McDonald's for 30 days straight. You guys might remember, it was really pretty funny. He ate McDonald's and then he talked about how he felt at the end and he made it into a movie. Well, Matt Cutts modeled his own experiments after that, but his experiment was exactly what I want to talk to you all today about, which is being consistent. So what he talked about, and what I really believe to be true, is that you can do anything for 30 days. You can actually endure anything for 30 days. But what's cool about that, what's interesting about that, is that if you choose one thing, very small increments, not a big change, but one teeny weeny little thing, and do it consistently every day for 30 days, you're either going to have a new habit or get rid of an old habit. So that got me to thinking about the 15-minute business builder that I talked about before, and some of the tips I'll share at the end today, but about actually doing one tiny thing in your business that by the end of the 30 days would make this humongous incremental impact. So my challenge to you all today is to find one business building task, one singular task that you could do every single day for 30 days, not take the weekends off or the holiday off or it's my birthday this month. Literally every single day for 30 days. And then at the end, see how it's changed your business. So that could be calling a new person on your chicken list every day for 30 days. That could be committing to having one new person on every webinar, because you're going to look at where all the webinars are. You're going to plan all those out on your calendar and make a point of having one new person on your webinar every time, or add one new name to your names list every single day for 30 days. Because think about that, at the end of the 30 days, you have 30 new names. At the end of a year, if that's stuck, you have 365 new names on your names list. That's just staggering and exciting to me. This one is my favorite. Actually, the next two are my favorites. Number one, make a commitment every day to connect with your upline and your downline. That connection could be any way that you want. That could be a phone call or a text. It could be something through Facebook. But if you stay engaged with your upline and with your downline every day for 30 days, that could be magical for both of you, right? And then the last is committing to having a 3-way phone call every day. Wouldn't that be amazing if you committed to every single day generating a 3-way phone call? I'm excited to hear about your results. So make sure you give me some feedback on that. Well, that leads me to the next piece, which is prioritization, because as soon as I asked people to do that, the response that I was going to hear was, well, I don't have time for that. Even if it's just one little incremental change, it's I don't have time for that. But what that really means is that's not a priority for me, right? it's not that you don't have the time necessarily, because we all spend our time, we cruise through our phones and we look on Facebook and stuff like that. But it means I don't have a priority. So I was reminded of that story just yesterday. I actually made a phone call to somebody, and they said to me, well, are you going to do this, that, and such and so? And I said, well, I don't really have the money for that. And my wonderful upline reminded me, she said, that's not really true. It's that you don't want to put the money. That's not a priority. So money and time, when you say I don't have it, it's probably more that you don't want to make that a priority. So I kind of keep that in mind as I go along. But the second TED Talk that I watched to kind of get me into the mindset of talking about priorities was Laura Vanderkam. And she was talking about time management. Last week, Gina Garber-Smith talked about that, and she said something really powerful. I'm sure you guys heard her say this, and that was that you can't really manage time. You can manage a lot of stuff, but we all have the same amount of time, 168 hours a week. You can't really do that, but you can manage your own personal priorities and what you want to do with your time. That's powerful, right? We all have the same amount of time, but what you do with that time is what you're managing. And prioritization of your business, of your family, of your kids, of your husband, of your wife, of your parents, of really making priority around what it is that you're doing and what you're building. So for me personally, the reason I took the leap of quitting my full-time work job and becoming a full-time entrepreneur was because at that point in time, my nieces and nephews were really small. And I remember thinking, the last thing on earth I want to have to do is say, I can't be there anymore on Christmas or for the football game or the soccer game or cheerleading or Irish dancing. I can't be at that event because I'm at work. And at that time I was working retail. So honestly, if it were a weekend or a holiday or whatever, I was there, right? I was at work on those times. So by being an entrepreneur and working for myself, I could prioritize my family. And that, I get a little choked up thinking about that. I don't want to start to cry, but, my family is a priority for me. And I know you all feel that way too. Your family, your friends, your time freedom is incredibly important. So deciding what you're going to spend your time on, because we all have that limited amount, and making a list of that. One of the recommendations that this speaker, Laura Vanderkam, made was to make a 3-column list about your priorities or your goals. And the heading of each of those 3 is business, personal and family, and yourself. And I challenge you to do that. Make a list of a couple things each day, each week, of the things that are important to you, and make sure you accomplish them. It's really powerful to think that way, that you deserve that. You deserve to be a priority. Now, really the reason I was talking about priorities was, of course, because we're entrepreneurs, but also in the realm of prospecting and lead generation. So, are you making prospecting and lead generation a top priority in your business? That is an important question. If prospecting and lead generation is really at the top of your list for business building, then you know that you're going to accelerate and go farther, because really, I was just talking with Zach about this, it's more eyes on your opportunity. I work with a lot of dentists, and the thing they always say to me is they want more butts in seats. They want more people to be at their office. And really that's what we want, right? We want more opportunities to present. And the way we're going to do that is by getting more prospects or doing more lead generation. Kind of reminds me of this, and I don't know where this visual came in. It's kind of an old Bewitched or Darren Stevens and Tabitha visual that I have here. It's kind of like this. Vacuuming and dusting are the lowest priority for me. Do not care about vacuuming and dusting. I care more about working on stuff like my business. But if your mother-in-law calls and she says, hey, I'm right around the corner. I am coming right over right now, and I'll be there in 15 minutes. holy mackerel, you can bet your buns I am vacuuming and dusting like a fiend, like the Flash. I'm zipping around, making sure that I get that done before she arrives. I jump into action. I'm quick like a bunny. I'm the fastest vacuumer and duster you've ever seen because my mother-in-law is coming over and I want my life to be a happy life. So I have to make sure that my environment looks great so that when she comes over, it looks good, right? Well, it's kind of the same thing with your business. If I told you, you have 15 minutes right now to do something, what would you do? How would you jump into action? What would you be quick like a bunny and work on? So that leads me to my next section, which is some prospecting tips. What you can really jump into action and do. And I like to think of this in the 7 questions, like with the journalists: who, what, where, when, why, and how. So prospecting tips under the heading of the who, what, where, when, why, and how, 7 magical questions. So who are you going to prospect to? Well, local business owners, franchise owners, and network marketers immediately come to mind. A couple weeks ago, I decided to focus exclusively on locally owned restaurants in my area. I didn't even focus on the franchises at that point. It was locally owned business owners. It was so enlightening. It was so wonderful. I really was thinking about what other restaurants I could go and visit, how I could talk to them, how this would absolutely help their business to get more eyes on their specials or their menu and things like that, get more people in. I felt so empowered, like I'm helping the community. It was really a awakening and empowering experience to focus exclusively on local restaurant business owners. And I bet you could do that too. I bet you could focus on a specific niche, a specific group of people, local business owners, local restaurant owners, local dry cleaners, and target them and use the blogs that have been created. You know, those blogs are absolutely awesome. You could just focus on food trucks, right? You could focus on local food truck owners. The second is where. Where are you prospecting? Well, you can prospect by calling them. You could go into their shop. You could message them through social media and make a connection that way, right? You could ask for a referral from another business owner and say, you know, I'd really love to meet the owner of that restaurant over there. Do you have any idea how I might be able to connect with them? Because I have something that I have a go that might actually be able to help them. Or networking meetings. And I know a lot of people talk about BNI and other networking organizations, and that's what I'm encouraging you. When you go to a networking meeting and you have your go and you show people how it works, they get super excited. And it might just be strong and a good thing to do to just ask them if they know anybody who could benefit, rather than try to show them the go and sell it to them. But I do have a funny story about that. So recently, under the where category, recently when I was out yard sailing, which my husband and I love to do on Saturday mornings, I was yard sailing and we were putzing around and checking out stuff for our antique shop. And I happened to see this beautiful stand. It was a community yard sale. And I happened to see this beautiful kind of awning gazebo thing out in somebody's yard. And people were talking and coming up, and yeah, I prospected a new business partner at a yard sale. And it turns out that he's an amazing network marketer. He has a big group. It's extremely exciting. I'm so excited to say that. So apparently you can prospect anywhere, even at yard sales. I encourage you all to do it. I'd love to hear from you all on what your funniest prospecting story is. The grocery store, dance lessons, on the sideline of the soccer field, yard sailing. I love to hear from you guys. Next is what? So with me, I always lead with the product. I actually lead with the go and my cell phone. I usually introduce the two together, and I don't lead with the business opportunity is what I'm getting at. I don't lead with, hey, are you looking for a business opportunity? The technology is so incredibly mind-blowing that people are usually like, how do I get involved with that? That's amazing. Honestly, when I first got started with Asirvia, that's really what happened. I wasn't looking for business partners initially. Initially, I was interested in sharing the go because I couldn't believe this cool technology. And business partners, they would ask me, you know, how do I become a business partner? So that's how that goes. Why do I prospect? Well, business owners of all kinds are really looking for additional ways to get their business out in front of their competition, right? So any business that you know of, any business that you can think of, and I really take this to all extremes, but think about, for instance, pharmaceutical reps. They are competing against other pharmaceutical reps with doctors' offices. They can use the Go because they want to reach the doctor or the decider of whoever writes the prescriptions. Antique shops in little malls, that was me. I was really looking for a way. I actually have my little antique shop is in with another 100 other antique booths. And so not only am I competing against all of the other stores in the mall, but I'm competing against my fellow antique shop owners. So people are trying to get their message out and be heard over all of the noise, right? So this actually does that. Sometimes business owners equate innovative technology like this kind of like with the launch of Facebook. And the phrase early adopter comes to mind, right? People who want to be the first one to have the technology, the first one to have those really cool watches, the devices, or the first one to have the new cell phone that's on the market. They are early adopters. They want to be in the game as a front runner. So sometimes you'll talk to people and that's why they're interested in the Go, because they want to be ahead of the pack and get in before everybody else does. When do I prospect? Okay. Personally, I plan prospecting into my calendar every day, whether that's through social media or phone calls or, whatever it is I'm planning. Prospecting is always there. It might vary by how I'm prospecting. Generally speaking, because I work with Tina and Kelly's accountability sheet, I'm following that. So I really want to make sure that I'm hitting all of those high notes that are recommended on the accountability sheet. But then I'm trying to throw in some new ones too. I also prospect spur of the moment when the mood strikes, when I see a really sharp business person when I'm out. Maybe I'm at the grocery store and I see somebody who looks busy. I tend to gravitate toward people who look really busy because the busiest people get the most things done. So I target them for talking to them about a product. They probably know a business owner who could benefit. Okay, how do I prospect? Well, I hold up my phone and I hold up the Go and I ask if they've ever seen this before. I'll show them the message on the Go. I would say 9.5 or 10 times out of 10, people are like, I don't know what that is. What is that? Is that a fire alarm, personal fire alarm? What is that little device you've got there? So I ask them that, and that usually launches the conversation for them. Or I'll ask how they currently market. Now this is kind of fun. This is kind of the game in me. I'll ask them how they currently market. What do you do to grow your business now? So you've got this great business here. This is really wonderful. What is it that you do to market your business? And they tell me, and I'll say, wouldn't it be totally cool if we could just market where people are looking all the time? Like if we could somehow harness knowledge and power and market on people's cell phones, but that I wouldn't need to know their phone number, and I could just put a message in their phone notifications so that when they're scrolling to look at all the other notifications, they would just see my message, and then they would click and they could go to my website or my Facebook page. People are like, oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. I said, I can do that. Let me show you how it works. So I really love that because you're getting the yes before you even show them the Go, right? Once I do that, I show them the ads. I show them, well, I don't call it, the plus ads, and I show them my messages, and I show them where the clickable link lands, and I show them the video, and all the work has kind of been done for me because they're already on my side. They already think it's cool. Okay, in the spirit of my TED Talks and of everything we've talked about today, in the spirit of Matt Cutts and Laura Vanderkam, here is your challenge for the next 30 days. Make one small change in your priorities and make one small change in your prospecting. That's what I want you to do, guys. Make one tiny change in that to see how that ends up being a highly impactful experience. And then let us all know. Private message me or post something in the group about the small change you've made and what happened at the end of 30 days. In wrapping up today's phone call, there are a few 15-minute business builders. I know I promised you that at the beginning of the talk. a few 15-minute business builders to really get you started. Other than talking about prospecting and lead generation, these are a few 15-minute business builders that I want to share with you that I think wrapped around that 30-day challenge could work really good. One, identify 5 social media sites other than Facebook where you can post. So some of those might be Nextdoor, Alignable, Tumblr, Blogger, Google+, and find some additional ones too. You'd be surprised how many sites where you can post about your business or engage with new people. Alignable is kind of like that. Second, post on those 5 social media websites other than just Facebook. So expanding a little bit. Number 3, read a book. Now, it's funny because as grown-ups, I think we kind of get out of the habit of reading a book, and Kelly and Tina have been really instrumental on getting me to read again. I also use Alignable, which helps me to have a, what do they call that, automobile university. As I'm driving around, I can be listening to books on tape. Next, write 3 thank you notes. Now, this is a great exercise. Whoever you want to thank, whatever you want to say, that really gets you in the attitude of gratitude, right? Write 3 thank you notes from your heart to whoever has made an impact on you this week or today or this month or last year. Really can transform how you're feeling that day. Create your vision board. Start your vision board. I started my vision board and mine is digital, so I was able to pull pictures from lots of different websites. But starting that was so exciting and magical for me. Another idea, call your first client, thank them for their business, ask them for a testimonial and a referral. Takes about 15 minutes. Call them, tell them how much you appreciate them. Again, attitude of gratitude. It'll really help you to move forward. You'll be surprised how good you feel and how good they feel. Next, record a testimonial for somebody else's business. You know, it's amazing. We would like to have testimonials. So go give, be a go-giver, jump in, write a recommendation, write a testimonial, go on Google, give somebody a review, say something nice about somebody else, and you'll be amazed at how that comes back to you tenfold. Another 15-minute business builder, review the Asirvia slide deck. You know, if you go through the presentation slides and you read them a couple of times, it really solidifies in your mind what we're talking about, what we're saying. And, you know, Andre and his team have done a lot of work to get that information to us and have it be accurate. So that's a really good thing to do for 15 minutes. And last of all, prepare your own Asirvia corporate call. See what you learn about yourself and your team by getting prepared for your opportunity to speak in front of everybody. I bet you that you will leave feeling so much more knowledgeable, feeling more committed, feeling more connected to your team and to the team at large by being prepared. You know, it's funny. Again, I might get a little choked up, but here's the thing. I like to look at that last line on the compensation plan, the global ambassador. And I like to imagine what my life will be like when I'm there. I like to really feel it. Then I start to think about, well, what would I do differently? What would I personally do with my team, with my husband, my family? What will be different when I am the global ambassador? And when you do that, and when you start to really think about what you're going to be like and what things you're going to do, you realize you can start implementing those things today. You can really start today to make a difference, and it'll be one way to really get to that end goal faster, right? So, you know, something I like to do. If you have any questions at all about prospecting, how to network, grow your business, prioritization, if you need an accountability partner, if you want to talk about some of the things that I've shared with you today, reaching out to me on Facebook is really the quickest way to reach me. Just private message me, Julia Flynn Werre. I want to thank you so much for listening today about consistency, priorities, and prospecting. Again, I want to thank the team, the corporate team, Don, Kevin, Andre, Tina and Kelly, Curry and Gina for just being so amazing. Let's just get out there and grow your business. #, let's go.